Hey team, how we going? It is Kaz, and we are big, as they would say in New Zealand. I don't know what happened before. YouTube had a problem with our signal strength, but we're back. That's us in the centre. One is about to go to Kapooka, one is about to go to Coral Platoon, which starts tomorrow. We've got a whole bunch of people right now around Australia that are on their way to Kapooka as we speak. With their last meal their mother made them, about to hit the bowls of the toilets of the SALs in Kapooka. Well done. Just waiting for you to get back on board here. Nicole K, here she is. Hope you're feeling good. Here they come, they're coming back. Thank you very much for your patience. I love technology, always fails when we need it most. Look, to tell you the truth, it's a wonder I'm allowed to have an ATM card. It's Josh, he says, Sigs there. JGO, g'day Kaz, g'day buddy, how you going? Is this a new name for you? I don't know if I've seen this one before. What would you like us to talk about? Foxy Fox, love it, we're back. Vic, Isaac, somebody's crying. We've got Carl P there, just got out of the bath. You're getting laughed at by Bill Burr as we speak. We've got Declan, that's a good name. That's like Dexter. It sounds like someone that can get things done. Oni just rolled up into Singo. That's the thing, Oni. We're talking about that tonight. At the moment, we've got the guys and gals, okay, where are we? What's going on here? Come on, Miss Jane. Come on, Miss Jane. A bit of seasoned weather or terrain? No, not our young fella there. It ain't swapping out. There we go. So we've got the seasonal weather or terrain. All the guys are about to rock up to Kapooka tomorrow from all over Australia. And we've got a fair few from our channel. And when they hit the ground, they're going to hit the ground, not necessarily running, but walking and wearing the tracksuit that probably doesn't fit them. And life is going to change for those guys and gals on the spot. Take into account that it was only today that a whole bunch of people left for all over Australia to go to Armoured Corps, to go to Infantry, etc. Understand that today also was the beginning for Coral Platoon, which has got one of our favourite members, we can't name him on the channel right now, who got unfortunately separated from his best compadre, who just turned 18, this weekend gone. So it's not good for them as far as they've been split up like Velma and Louise going over the cliff. But at the same time, Coral Platoon starts tomorrow, which is the start of the infantry training that prepares them, okay, to become Skippy badge recipients. Hopefully, there's no hiccups. We've got Camel 666 here, which is an evil camel. G'day, Kaz. Thanks for your videos. It gave me the confidence to pursue and try. Now I'll be going to Kapooka, 12th of the 6th, or 6th of the 12th, 12th of the 6th. Cheers. Eddie Bennett, all right, but Kaz, you saw my message about my mistake. Yeah. No, I haven't seen the message about your mistake, mate, actually. Joey Grace, great to have you here. Lucky you found the channel, because I guarantee, let me say this to you straight up, I guarantee to Army, if you're listening now, if more people came to this channel, I do believe, honestly, that the failure rate would fall down dramatically. I believe the reason why people fail at Kapooka is attitudinally almost always, and that is because sometimes they feel isolated, precious from home. So when they hit Kapooka and they first hear, Hallway 31, Hallway 11, they panic and think, what the hell is going on here? James again throws another donation out there, Smurf coloured donation. John West accepts. Bam, look at that. Rural Hunter, right now, is actually at the School of Infantry, and he starts tomorrow. We're not going to say what his real name is, okay? But he starts his singleton training tomorrow, split up from his brother. Mate, still no showers. What's going on? Okay, one of the biggest dramas that happens when you get to the School of Infantry, bam, and you feel like you're all alone, is the fact that, there's morning routine duties that have to be done, and sometimes there's egos within. Now, that's where we talk to people like myself, so I can talk to them and say, hey, buddy, this is what it is. Ego will not get you through the School of Infantry. Teamwork will, brotherhood will. Sam Ree, not too cow, done some damage there. Thanks very much. Mate, that's going all the way to India there with Mr. Buckaroony. What are you doing? Those that know Mr. Buckaroony, put your thumbs up. We've got a YouTuber. Hey, mate, watching from Tassie. 2 heads right there. Can't comment. That's unlike him. Not on YouTube anymore, mate. You quit before me. Holy shit. There you go. Mr. Buckaroony's quit. I'll talk to him later, and we'll find out what's going on there. Jamie Bauer. And I'll ring you tomorrow while my daughter's doing zone cross country, my brother. All the best to Roz and Rafa the dog. Jamie Bauer, g'day Kaz. Watched my young bloke parade out of Naval Recruit School on the weekend. Very proud. Your vids were really helpful in getting him ready for his journey in the ADF. Thanks, mate. Jamie, you must be the proudest man. You know, because when you have, especially now, when you have a child that goes into the forces, Army, Air Force, Navy, you know at least they're being protected from a bit of the woke mentality that is taking over our civilian sector, that is making people feel like, holy shit, I feel like I've done something wrong from the second I wake. That's a fact, Jack. Coops, he's got to love watching Gallipoli company march around, Gallipoli Platoon. So many of the guys. There's a lot. We're talking about School of Infantry. So skipping over from those guys that left Kapooka today, that got to the School of Infantry today, and the first thing they saw after they got off the broke road, which isn't actually broken, covered in dead kangaroos roadkill, is the museum to the left, and then on to the right after they go through the gate where their girlfriends can't follow without permission, well done, is the obstacle course and be waiting for them, and they only see one half of it. We've also got the sniper concentration international. I think there's 35 different countries involved in the Singleton sniper concentration, and that's going to be amazing. What's he got to say? I'm not sure what he's got written there. I'll be with you, Buck. I'll be with you. Winston Fairfield, if you've had gout for one day 6 years ago and it doesn't affect you now, you should not confess that to recruits at U session. No, don't. And we'll say that the gout came for you drinking from a cardboard box of wine. Yep. I had gout before too. It sucks. Redman. So let's get some structure here. Life is about to change for so many. All of those that are going to Kapooka as we speak, spending nights tonight in a hotel, understand tomorrow, hand up, oath of affirmation on the king or on God. From there, they'll get on the bus and they'll be on the way to Kapooka. They'll get off, they'll be given some things, maybe even get a haircut. But tomorrow, Tuesday, is when it really starts. In the School of Infantry, Tuesday is where it really starts. Why? Because their parents have seen them march out on Friday. They've had the weekend to go and chill out in Wagga Wagga, pretty town, beautiful, not a racial slur. And then today they would have been heading by bus to the School of Infantry. When they get to the School of Infantry, they know tomorrow morning, okay, then they're about to be separated from other corps because they're going to do an Army BFA tomorrow. Those that fail, okay, will go into a 6-week, basically back squad conditioning program. Those that don't might start the course that starts in 2 weeks from now after Coral Platoon starts tomorrow. All of our platoons are named after battle honours, okay, and I was in Kapooka. Hey, Scotty, you hoping well? I'm coming out of the clouds now, mate. I'm starting to feel good. I sent away a bunch of the fitness cards today too. Simon Powell, I copped gout from my ex-wife all the time. I get that. Eddie B. Anyway, Kaz, hope you've had a good stream and night, and I'll be heading to Fort Campbell in 2 months to be stationed at Fort Campbell. Well done, mate, and we'll be tracking you. And one day, I'm hoping to do some sort of Google Meet or Zoom with you as we speak to you and your father, and we can have a joint one there, mate, because we really want to see what the politics is in the US Army while we discuss the avenues that we're going to in the Australian Army. And I believe it's probably fairly similar. Scotty, thanks for the Smurf donation there. It's going all the way to India, Truckee. Fat Camp, James, that's what it is, basically. BFA Thursday. Okay, that's a little bit late. Normally it happens on the Tuesday, the first morning there. Nicole K. Sorry, hi, sorry, no callers. My voice is gone again. There you go. Brother Powell, how are ya? Simon Powell, don't forget to hit the like button, folks. Help Kaz for the algorithm. I don't think the algorithm really digs Kaz, but that's okay. Yep, there we go. Ads 3 is saying Gallipoli platoon, which is the holding platoon at the School of Infantry, is massive at the moment. I heard it's like 3 months wait to get into session. I don't think it's three months. But what it is, it means that you have to qualify to get in there, and that will be the 50th most ready people based on their BFA scores. You know, so it's going to be a really hard-hitting platoon, that one. It's going to probably be a really good one. Foxy's heading to Pucka with the Camels next weekend for the 50th Transport Corps anniversary on the 1st of June. Well done. They've it's been really good. They've made Foxy the ambassador for the Camels, so she looks after those. So when we tell you there's some far out jobs that happen in the military, that's an example right there. She's got twice as many humps, and we're talking about the animals right there. Yeah, can confirm BFA is on Thursdays. Okay, it used to be the first morning that you got there to really add that fear. Make sure you say hello to Fiona at the Defence Bank while you're there, and say hello to the canteen ladies for Kaz. Eddie B, sounds good. Also, I think you skipped a previous message from earlier, but I'm testing for my expert infantry badge. I don't have it yet. Righto, Ed, we're going to hold you to it. You're going to get it, mate. You're going to get your expert badge. Nicole K. Fox, and if you want to get only 7K, 6-ish weeks, you'll get in there straight away if you're the fittest. So the incentive is, you know, don't worry about your brothers. You're an individual journey in amongst those, okay, that are your herd. You do the most push-ups, you run the fastest, and there's a good chance you'll be in that platoon in 2 weeks. Because you can overtake people. It doesn't go based on your seniority from Kapooka. Colbs, hey Kaz, enlisting next Monday for infantry. How long would it take after I'm fully trained to do? They offer training for specialist roles like sniper, etc. Normally the first year is getting your time up in the battalion, doing the activities, and that is considered your lead status. That's your learning, your probation period. After that, you normally go to specialist platoons. However, in saying that, the platoons are undermanned at the moment, which means you'll have an opportunity to go there potentially earlier. So don't, you might think at the moment you want to be a sniper. You might want to think that you want to go to direct fire support weapons. You might think you want to go to signals. You might want to go to reconnaissance or mortars. But your mind will probably change when you go and see them getting around. And remember, the platoon that you go to as a specialist is going to be also probably the platoon that you will do as a full track, as a section commander, then as a platoon sergeant, instructor therein at the School of Infantry yourself, warrant officer, CSM of, support company, etc. So make sure you do the one you want. Hey, Jackie Cave, how you going, buddy? What's going on in your cave? That's what she said. Foxy, yeah, I remember doing the water crossing winter last week at Pucka. It sucks. It was 3 degrees funny watching the corporal do the demo. Then they had to laugh at you. That's it. Quite often I've had to do examples of things only to realise what my soldiers are going through and realising I don't necessarily have the pluck to do it myself. Bit of honesty there. Dipple Druce, never seen that one before. Kaz enlisting on Monday, ran like 900 metres and shin splints put me to the side for fuck's sake. I think I've made a mistake. What should I do? My recommendation for you, mate, would be to get to the military. I wouldn't be telling them yet because you might be giving yourself the wrong diagnosis. And then from there, what can happen is you become the Army's problem rather than a civilian problem. If you go in there now and say, I think I've got, fill in the blank, you won't have a career at all. So this is not the time for a confession session. All right? What I'd do if I was you, Dipple Drucy, is get on Patreon, okay, and talk to me one-on-one on this secure line that Siri listens to called the Bat Phone. We'll have a one-on-one conversation, mate. And that goes for everyone. We've only got about 38 positions left on Patreon. And once it gets to 200, that's it. It's full. You've got to wait for someone to drop off before you can join. Tremars, got assessment day tomorrow and have been studying like crazy. Any final words of wisdom? Trey Mars, it is not a confession session. If you smoked pot when you're younger, you've never smoked pot. Okay, if you think you've got ADHD but you haven't been diagnosed with it, then you don't. You know, tomorrow is the day that you answer the question, but don't add more. This is not going into the FBI or the police force. Don't do anything to ruin yourself. And honestly, I wish you'd come to the bat phone before now so that we could have prepared you for tomorrow's assessment session, because we've almost got 100% success rate in that, and also officer selection boards, except for people that actually find out they've got something medically wrong with them that they didn't even know existed. James, ibuprofen and pray. Yep. Benny, are the BFA push-ups done to cadence? No, they're not. Not unless you're going for commandos. No, they're not. I recommend you go as fast as you can, because by the time they come over and see you jackhammering, you know, they might say take one off, take two off, but you might already have the number out. G'day, Godzilla. There you go, mate. John Doe. Chalk outline right there. Good evening, mate. Dipple. It's Chris from Patreon. Oh, there you go, Chris. I sent your fitness card today, I think, too, mate. So let's have another talk tomorrow if you want to give me a message, and we'll get that done, okay? Yep, the push-up test goes for 2 minutes. You'll know by the end of the first minute if you passed or failed. If you're on your knees before the first minute's up, chances are you failed. What are the fitness things with different battalions in the School of Infantry? There isn't. They're all the same. Okay, let's have a look at this for a second. Bam. Oh, wait a sec. Let's go back here. So we're talking about the School of Infantry. Bam. We've got the badge there. So what you need to understand, okay, the bottom badge is the actual infantry hat badge. Okay, remember there's two corps that earn their actual corps badge. That's infantry and cavalry of armored corps. You know, so the bottom is the badge that you're going to be wearing when you're at Kapooka, that designates the corps that you're going to be going to. Okay, once you finish initial employment training, you'll get the revered Skippy badge above it, okay, with duty first as our motto. Okay, let's have a look at the next one. Okay, so the next one is Armoured Corps. This is the Armoured Corps hat badge. And then when they get through their IETs, if they go to cavalry, okay, then bam, there we go, the Scorpion. You know, and the best place to serve would be 3-4 Cav, I believe, in Townsville, if you're going to be Armoured Corps. So I thought Carl would be a bit excited by these. If you're actually wondering about the Skippy badge, the Armoured Corps badge, etc., why you don't get it and can't get it as an Army Reservist, I want you to remember something. Okay, we got the prefix Royal in 1949 to get the Skippy badge, yeah? Okay, that one at the top. So it's not any more famous, it's just newer than what the badges will be for the 2nd, 7th, okay, for the Hunter River Lancers, all of these different things. They're part of actual units that were serving in World War I and II. So it is important that you understand, okay, that although you don't have the Skippy badge, the actual badge you're wearing is also a very famous badge, worn by people like this fella, okay, 14 years old. I'm not sure if he died in Gallipoli, but he was 14. So when you talk about what does it take to be an infantry soldier, what does it take to be an Australian soldier, I'd argue it's the pluck that this kid had at 14. You know, it's what's in your heart. Okay, it's the fact that you have to be a volunteer, which is why I'm so scared at the moment, that they're offering money incentives to get people to stay in the army at the 4-year mark. Because if we get to the stage where paying people to stay, then what's going to happen is we're going to end up with a militia, a mercenary army, and you can't undo that once it starts. It's like giving a bad behaving child, okay, a lolly if they behave. Then they're going to want 2 lollies, 3 lollies, and you can't keep up with Redithan. Hey, Kaz, g'day, buddy. Dave D. Cull's out back looking for his horse. Oh, he'd be excited now. Carl P, everyone should be in the push-up position at the end of the 2 minutes, never on your knees. Tips for young players, never put your knees on the ground when you stand up. Yeah, don't do that. That's how you bust a knee too. And for some reason, we never do our push-ups on the grass. Lukey, the Flukey, what I'm curious about is when all the hat badges will transition from the Queen's Crown to the King's Crown. That's a very great point, Luke. And I don't believe that anyone should actually buy their hat badge. It should be then given to them, once they hand their weapon back. If you are currently serving in the army, I believe what there should be is a ceremony that every single soldier all around Australia is mustered and told, lay your weapon down, ground arms. They lay their weapon down, and then from there they repledge their service to the King and take their weapon up. If they do not take the weapon up, they are summarily discharged on the spot, because it has to be a volunteer army. We served under the Queen. If you serve under the King, not that your contract has changed, but your oath has. And it's important. I think that's a great one. That's okay, Colbs. BB Epic. Can you, Kaz, do you have to go to the Australian Defence Force Academy before you say join infantry, or can you join in without going? Yeah, no. The academy is for officers, mate, and they don't get to choose infantry. They can say they want to go there, but they'll only get there if, they're found that they have decisive capability. A lot of people go to infantry and, go to RMC and have no leadership whatsoever. Nothing. So that bell curve is there, and what they'll determine through actual training, through testing, through shoots, training exercises without troops, through back briefs, through decisive engagement, is what is their ability to make a decision without all the facts that promptly executes the training objectives of a mission. And if they say to them, no, mate, you're a very technical thinker, but you don't have the ability to think in a process that is timely and faster in the decision action cycle on what an enemy is likely to be, you're not going to be suited for infantry. HDF, the Australian Army, we paid as per what we're qualified for. Yep, we choose our roles. No one is paid the same as anyone else pretty much, because everyone's got different qualifications, different proficiencies, etc. In like Flynn, hey Kaz, is it true that the army doesn't take people who are ADHD medication? That's correct. ADHD, depression, all that sort of stuff. So what would normally happen is you would normally go in to your U session to see what you can unlock. The assessment session, they may say come back in 1 year when you haven't been on any medication, so they can actually see where you're at. I believe I've got undiagnosed ADHD. Me and paperwork, even toilet paper, doesn't go well. Hit the like button if you can, team. That's not paperwork. And it's just for Singleton or after Singo with a posting, is there a place that I should want to go for the better training? Always Townsville. Townsville is exploding, and I don't mean in a bad way. The town is getting bigger. The homes are cheaper to buy. It is a full immersive military experience, all built around a base which is set apart from the civilian sector. I believe that everyone should start at Townsville, Laverick Barracks, honestly. Courage passed away whilst us spanners were on guard. I'm not sure what that one's about. Nicole, Fox, if they want to serve our country, then they wouldn't have a problem with it. He swore an oath to serve God, Queen and country. This will only reaffirm a commitment under the King. I'm a big believer in not just monarchy, but customs and traditions. You have to have basement, you have to have flagstones that your house is built on, a foundation. If you don't have anything in the past, then what are you building your foundation of self-respect on, customs and traditions, or a belief system on? Punch out 50 push-ups on 80 seconds. Okay, well, we need you to, James, to do in 120 seconds. So you still got 40 seconds to go. Remember, if you keep working on doing your transverse ab exercises similar to planking, platforms, etc., then that will also work on push-ups. Strengthen the abs, improve your push-ups. When you go and do bench press, only put 20 on each side, never more than that, on the Olympic bar, okay, to be able to work and go for as many reps as you can possibly do, okay, for muscular endurance. Everything in the army is pretty much muscular endurance. Mitch, don't think we have to do the oath, Kaz. Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, her heirs and successors according to law, so help me God. You do an oath when you join the army, but Mitch, and you do it on the Queen, or you did it on God. Now, anyone that did it on the Queen, by rights, okay, you gave it to the Queen, you didn't give it to the King. So those people should have the opportunity to come out and then resell that one. And what that might also be is a fantastic parade where they can show King Charles, you know, soon to be, I believe, Prince William as King William, okay, that we are still in some ways connected to the Commonwealth. We're not here to be a lone team. If you break away from the Commonwealth, then maybe they won't be there when we need it. Remember that too. We don't need police. Police, help me. Now I'm the victim. Jake, looking forward to speaking to you again too soon, mate. Townsville local here. Not sure about the home getting cheaper, but everywhere else is sure. I think the houses are getting cheaper, Jake. I just think the rent is going up in Townsville. I started Pucker back in the day, 21 construction squadron. There you go. Pucker sucks, doesn't it? Brady. All right, so the bird that had to be set up in the mess cooler is the aggressive stance and notified the taxidermist. I'm not sure what that's about. Okay, it's not the change of names. I know so many people discharging, and if they could get out quicker, they would. That's a really sad thing. When people want to get out, that is normally... I did watch the coronation. It went for a long, long time, but I did like it. I liked it. Peter Mayfield, Pacadurries. I did the oath on the Queen, so did I. Or did I do it on God? I can't remember. I often find, Foxy, that people get out of the army for several reasons. One is either the partner they're with, okay, and that normally ends catastrophically where the guy then resents it for the rest of his life that he got out. The other one is leadership, okay, and the other one is immaturity and peer pressure. Sometimes people get out because they think the grass is greener, forgetting that when they got in the army, it was a calling. Sometimes they've also chosen the wrong corps that doesn't have an inspirational, okay, quality to it. Something like Cav, something like Infantry, something like Engineers that you can really be proud about and compete as a franchise against other units. And that's up to the leadership to create that, whether it be through t-shirts, competitions, you know, professional skill at arms. Gary, hey Kaz, I was Kapooka for the last 4 weeks, but failed the 3A test and was back squatted. It was funny being there. So are you actually out of the army now, Gary? Did they back squad you out? That'd be interesting. Nicole, Townsville has some really cheap homes. Careful where you buy though, and not in a flood zone. Absolutely golden information there. Mitch, or Mutch, as they would say in New Zealand. But it's to her heirs and successors, so you already have pledged your allegiance to the king, but yeah, parade to commemorate the king would be good. Yeah, I think it would be. Joey Grace will be back in a few. Every time I see Grace, it upsets me a little bit. For those that don't know, Grace is the name of one of the little girls that unfortunately lost her life while I was in Rwanda, that I had to turn my back on and walk away. Yeah, very tough one. It's a beautiful name. HDF. Back in 1987, my first posting was 21 Construction Squadron, still serving. Only 4 years to go until my retirement. Okay, well done, mate. Well done. You know, it's a funny thing, but when you've done your time, you know you've done your time, and then you can get out and you can relax. It's a good thing. For all those that are going to Kapooka, okay, tomorrow, life is about to change. Those that are going to Coral Platoon tomorrow, life is about to change. We've got some of them on here right now. And I absolutely believe that you have 100 points until you lose them. You know, you're part of an emotional game show. Have a laugh. And did anyone watch the summit last night? I thought it was excellent. You know, I don't like any of the contestants pretty much, but I love the fact that, like a social credit score, they realise that they have 14 days to achieve their mission. There's deliberately people there that will have no chance of getting there within that 14 days. And now they realise, what do you bring to the table? There's a real reality to this reality show, you know. And if we could extrapolate that, I think people would get a lot out of the message and realise where they are in the pack. Come into the unknown. Now that should be a dating profile. Just completed Navy recruit school at Cerberus. Not sure why the Royal Australian Navy gets such a bad rap. Met a lot of top blokes. There's a lot of top blokes everywhere, mate. I just hope when you go across the equator, you don't get the golden rivet. You know, all the best, mate. Well done, Navy. Change that franchise and get a girlfriend. That'll confuse them all. You got some beautiful postings too. What is the 3 alpha test? I don't actually even know what that is. That might be shooting. Force, any chance you'll do a video on Duntroon and infantry officer life soon, Kaz? I normally like to stick to my lane, mate. I can talk about the officers. Okay, what I'd recommend to you, is either get on to Patreon and talk to me one-on-one so I can speak about what I can't speak about on here. Because sometimes I've got to name names as well, don't I? Okay, but let's just say the Chief of the Australian Army is one of the best officers I've ever met in my life. He's an amazing man, and I'd do anything for that guy. If he said, come and do a public speaking event, I'd do it. If he said, come and have a coffee with me, I'd drive to him and I'd do it. He's an amazing man. Hugh Jackman. Okay, it's heading off to the Kapooka on Thursday. That doesn't make sense. You Army Reserve, are you, mate? Normally Monday and Tuesday people head in. Sarkside train showed me hard. Any knowledge on the awards available at Kapooka and what they entail? I want to do the very best I can. Okay, it is a qualification shooting. This is me. Okay, thank you for that, mate. Mate, if you're going to get the Cameron Baird Award, okay, for best overall soldier, etc., or any of those, there's nothing you can do but try your hardest, but accept the fact that when you go there, you're actually going to meet some people that are really, really high achievers. So don't assume you can go in there and just take it out. Okay, it will be hard. Yep, reserve infantry. There you go. Opinion on an infantry gap year. Not very. Look, if you're going to do gap year, that should be because you have an intention on coming back and you've got a conflicting career that means that you do it and Army Reserve. If you're not going to do it to get fully qualified within Army Reserve, there is no reason to do gap year other than for the purposes of what you would get from finish the sentence, Kaz. From national service, because really that's all you're doing, giving a year of national service and then getting out and then being on the books for Army Reserve. Commit yourself, do the 4 years like you would for uni, like you would for a trade, and then when the doors open and close at the end of that, you'll know, is this the spot for you? What do you think about the return of national service argument in Victoria? I didn't know there was, Peter. Mayfield Packadurries. I hope it is. That would be really exciting. I think it's time that I did a video Zoom session with someone and speak on the pros and the cons of national service and how much our country needs it. We need it. We are slipping into this left-leaning world where people don't know where they stand, where they're guilty of this or that, or hiding behind their social points or victim mentality scores. Okay, we've got one country. There should be one flag flying and one flag only. Otherwise what you're doing is encouraging divide. I love all Australians until they prove otherwise. And I've had to, because we signed on to fight for all this. Gap year's even got a carrot to sign on for 3 years in transport, 40K. Bam! Foxy, look at that. Gap year's worth it regardless of what you do. It is, but what I think their HDF is the fact that the gap year, by the time you sign on, if there's not an obligation or the ability to sign on for the next 3 years, then what happens is the soldier does an entire year of giving the army what it wants, and then when the hard work is finally out the way, then the soldier may get out and for the rest of their life wish they'd actually stayed and done the other 3 and made a go of it, you know? Yep. And if you think you're only going for a year, then chances are you're not going to be very committed to it, are you? You're going to go in there and you're going to do what it takes to get through the year. You start making your reputation at Kapooka on the bus, and then you enhance that reputation on the bus to the School of Infantry, and then at Gallipoli Platoon. The only way you can show what you've got is physically, okay, and then shooting, and then attitudinally. They're the 3 things, but the very first one is your fitness. That shows your prowess. It will change the way you think about everything forever. That you're exactly right there. It will reprogram you. That is for sure. Leroy, can I post a link to the book about Cameron Baird? Of course you can, mate. Guys and gals, I don't have a problem if you put your links on here. We're not that kind of channel that gets anal on that stuff. You know, if you want to do a call out for people, do a call out. This is your channel as well. Apple juice. Kaz, I'm going to signal it on the range with 8 Sisby on exercise gigas frost as a cadet next month. Anything interesting I should look out for? Look out for the cactuses, okay, the prickly pear. Look out for the inch ants, okay, and don't get in the way of the regular soldiers. That's about it. Is there anything a person can do to improve marksmanship skills other than shooting? Is there a range that ADF members can go to in their free time? Jake, hold your horses. Wait till you get to the military. And when you learn the 4 marksmanship principles, and then you go through that cadre of professional shooters that will give you all of the skills and the good to knows, you will improve. I've had guys come from the country that have had a rifle all their life that get outshot by people that are firing for the first time from the city. You know, it is a natural skill as well. Okay, the 4 marksmanship principles. The first one, okay, the weapon must be, the position hold must be firm enough to support the weapon. The second one, the weapon must be point naturally at the target without any physical undue effort. Third one, sight and alignment and aiming must be correct. And the fourth one is shot must be released and followed through without any disturbance of fire's position. Around that. There we go. Bam. Straight from Singo right now. Reputation is everything. Give me 2 seconds here, team. The only thing that I want to tell you about is I ran into some soldiers. Okay, at Charlestown Square on the weekend. Now, these guys are currently going through the School of Infantry. I'm not going to talk too much about them except for the fact that they were guns. Okay, I love talking to them. I spoke to them for about an hour. We discussed a whole bunch of different things, okay, from a retired veteran's perspective to 2 guys with very open minds and allowed them to communicate in a way that they had a voice. They were very articulate and very open to conversation. And the way we spoke together, I believe that we came to a whole bunch of common goals where I learnt from what they were talking about too. You know, it was an absolute pleasure, you know, and I believe that the pleasure went all the way around for them as well. You know, we were there for a long time. It looked like a serious conversation, probably to those that were walking past. Probably looked like violence was about to happen. Too many tattoos out. But some of the things we spoke about, I believe there was a real chance for a circle table discussion rather than a end of the table, someone leading a conversation, like a podcast that should happen as a building period for the psyche of new soldiers. So they understand the why, the psyche behind the warrior spirit, the warrior ethos. Yep. Once you know why you're there and why we do things, you know, people will put on a lot harder. What do we got, Jake? I've only shot a rifle a couple of times, 308, okay. So you know what it's like to fire 7.62, etc. And the 22, a no-brainer. You know, but they still both need the marksmanship principles. You'll be good. You'll be good to go. How do I handle having hair on my face? Mate, I've got a thin chin, mate. Like I said today, it's as thin as a bloody piece of paper at the moment. So rather than represent with a weak jaw, I let the hair on there, and 24 years I had to shave every single morning. So, I need to not look like a lesbian, and the best way to do that is grow a bit of hair on the chin. Brian Crompton, not Compton. Hey, Kaz, I haven't commented before, but I just wanted to say you have played a major role in my applying to the Army. I'm planning on doing ADFA, excellent, and have a U session on the 31st. Cheers. Brian, if you decide to bring your gangster self over here to the bat phone, we can have a conversations about that. As you know, for many years, I also instructed officers. I learnt a lot from them, and I believe they learned a lot from me. And I think leadership is a franchise that needs to be worked on by many. And unfortunately, some of our instructors are actually managers, not leaders. Yep. People, if you want to be the head of the ship and you're trying to teach people how to be head of the ship, there's a conflict of interest. I want to support the ship. I love being led by someone that knows what they're doing, that also has compassion for the soldier, but also understands that his job is to win every time. Hey, Kaz, what battalion did you serve in? 2nd Battalion, mate, second to none. If you can give me some insight about your career. I'll talk to you about the career team. I joined the Army Reserve, there you go, when I was 17 years old. When I was 19, I joined the regular Army. I was meant to be going in as a electronics warfare officer, and then realised when I had my core allocation to go there that I'd have to be doing a course where I sit still for 40 weeks. I said, no way, mate, no way. So I switched over to infantry at Kapooka. I was 58 kilos, but I was fit as buggery, And so from there, I went to the School of Infantry, realised that 58 kilos is goddamn light, but I was also very fit. I didn't have problems with anything. Everything was hard, but I didn't have problems with anything. I was always in the top 50% to top 10% to top 5% when it came to fitness. From there, got to the battalion. I didn't get back squatted anywhere. Went to the 2nd, 4th Battalion before it de-linked to the 2nd and 4th Battalion, which ultimately became Commandos. I was there for a while. Didn't get to go to Cambodia. Got called back from Newcastle end of Christmas leave to go to Somalia, and then got told, no, you've missed this gig. Cried. I thought that was my last chance to go on operations. Stayed in. A couple of years later, went to Rwanda, Central Africa. Got back from there. Then I went for my Special Forces training beside Dr. Pronk, for the barrier test. You've probably heard of him, SAS guy. And basically what happened was, when we were going through the barrier test, we got told, you're about to go to East Timor. I pulled off my barrier test. I went to East Timor for Indefet 1999. Come back from there, met a great gal, gave up my dreams of Special Forces at that stage, and then went to East Timor a second time, came back from there, met another great gal, and this continued on, got to 2008, and then from there went to the Middle East. I went over there to the Sinai Peninsula between Egypt, Israel, Palestine, etc. for the Camp David Accords. After that was over, came back, my anal disease, ulcerative colitis kicked in that badly that I was only allowed to train people for Afghanistan and Iraq, Solomons and next Timor trips, but wasn't allowed to go myself. So I put my time into instructing officers and sergeants to be, and kept going back and forth from the 2nd Battalion to the School of Infantry until ultimately I was handed a yellow envelope and said, get the fuck out in 2015. Got out in 2015 with tears in my eyes and said, I haven't had enough. It's only been 24 years, not including Army Reserve time. So I started an Army Reserve channel, got my channel stolen by an Asian who I fell for a scam. And now I said, no, I can't quit. I tell you not to quit. So I didn't quit, started a second channel. And this is where we are right now. Make sure you subscribe. There you go. Fuzz, if they're letting women in, stands to reason they'll let us short guys in as well. Johnny, what do you call short? I was 178 centimetres and I've lost a few centimetres now due to back compression by carrying packs. So the ladies, are finding me even less desirable, except for the lesbians, of course. Dave D, 80, 100, sub 10 minute. Okay, so Dave's up to 80 push-ups, I take it. 100 sit-ups, sub 10 minute, huge jacked man. Are you talking about yourself or are you talking about someone else, Dave? I've seen you. What year did you go through recruit training? Me, 1991. Hugh, jacked man, solid almost there, push up 60 currently. I thought they were a little low. Jake saying Dr. Pronk is a legend. He is an amazing man. An amazing man. Onyx. That's my platoon picture, 12 platoon Bravo company. There you go. You're talking about these guys in the rain. There you go. That's the platoon sergeant at the front. You can see with the red sash on team. Okay, it looks like the section commander's behind him with the medals on. Okay, see their lanyard is on the right-hand side. Okay, that's that red lanyard you can see going into their right-hand pocket. Infantry is the only corps where as soon as you finish your IETs, that goes on to the other side, and you're the only corps that'll be wearing it on your left. Okay, well, that my opinion, but okay, guys, Joshy, Apple Juice, that should have been in Zero Limits podcast. I'm not sure what that's about. Zero Limits. What's the Zero Limits podcast? Sorry, I can't keep up, team. I'm on listening to podcasts every single day, pretty much. Kaz now 117 centimetres, just above my daughter. You know, no worries, stretch. You know, get out of your bath and say that. Thanks, mate, for what you have done in your drive. HDF, mate, there's just no good time to get out. I've just loved it so much, mate. Appreciate it, mate. T. Peachy, I had asthma, not symptomatic, but I am fit. Run every day, weights every day, small bloke, but I am fit. Will they let me in when I finish high school? T. Peachy, maybe or maybe not. That's normally automatic disqualification if you have anything to do with asthma. Some of the things that can make a difference is the corps you're going for, and they'll do a lung expansion test because you might have had childhood asthma that you've actually grown out of a long time ago. But if it's still present, then the answer will be no, mate, sadly. Huge Jack Man was asking the ideal stance for infantry, Kaz. Dave replied to me. Okay. Yep. If it was up to me, you know, you need to be able to do 60 to 80 push-ups. As you said, 100 sit-ups, it's a hip flex, you know, and running under 10 minutes. That's what I'd say to people. But the guys I was speaking to on the weekend, remember that the BFA is just a metric. It makes no real difference to you when you're in Tully, when you're in the Middle East, okay, when you're in East Timor. What it is to say that you have a capability above a certain level to operate with a certain amount of muscular endurance, that you have enough cardiovascular fitness, okay, that you have back support through abdominal strength to be able to protect your actual fulcrum and your back, you know, from what you're about to go through. It's like a rugby league career. You will get injuries. You will. That's just a fact of matter. Certified Evil. Kaz, I've got a question. How much do you reckon you should weigh when you enlist? Look, ideally, it'd be 70 kilos. I was 58 and I got through. At the moment, you will be wearing the body armor. So it's important that you're actually able to lift that, carry that, and move your own body weight. But 70, 75 kilos, don't try and increase your body weight by force feeding yourself. You know how to push your body weight. It's about keeping weight off, unnecessary weight off. From what you've seen from other soldiers in training, are there any pros and cons will be of being really tall? Currently 198 centimetres. Being inside an armoured vehicle is going to suck for you, dude. And only 19, so I might get a little bit taller. You're almost too tall for the girls to like. But there is basketball players in there. And there you're going to be a right marker for sure. Mate, it's going to help in pack marches because your gait will be less. Okay, it'll help in running if you actually are a runner. It's going to suck when you do push-ups and metric testing like that because your levers will be longer. It might make you a gunner by default I'd put you as a number one scout, so it just looks weird as fuck to the enemy. They go, if that's the first guy, imagine what the bigger guys are going to be. You'll be right, mate. You'll determine that. If anything's going to suck, it's going to be your choice of cars. You don't have a choice. You're going to have to get something like a Ford Ranger. You're never going to be able to get a hatchback. Oh, there you go. Thanks, mate. Thanks for that apple juice. I'll check it out. I hope it was nice. Okay, there you go. Cons, you won't fit on a bunk bed at 198 centimetres. The good thing is, if you weigh 198 centimetres, it means every woman on earth will be able to take you doggy style. How's that? Short men look like chihuahuas on German shepherds. Can't be done. That's why we have to date women smaller than ourselves. Onyx, I've got a question. Is military police a good career? I don't believe it is. You're not actually a cop. Okay, what crime? As soon as you are above civilian crime metric, then that'll be handed over to civilian police. Okay, military police will do things like guiding. They'll do things like close point protection. They'll do dog handling, attack dogs. Okay, not detection dogs. They'll do guides, motorbike courses, detainee courses, all that sort of stuff. But you don't really meet too many happy military police. Okay? If you really want to be a cop, go and be an actual cop. We support the thin blue line here too. Rands. Hey, Kaz, I was just talking with recruiters on the phone today. I'm waiting on the next release of U-session dates. Thanks for all the advice with your videos. They have helped me so much. Rand's not sure how old you are. Is 47 an indicator? When in doubt, get on the Bat Phone team. Join Patreon. Get on here and have a one-on-one conversation with me. That way, we can speak with context and get around what actually makes you tick as well, yeah? Wiggle equivalent. Foxy. I'm glad you thought that was funny, Foxy. It'd be like watching a donkey with a camel, wouldn't it? Luca Fleming. Hey, Kaz, and I'm talking to experience there. I've had a couple of tall girlfriends. They only lasted a night, and I realised that's a goddamn mistake. Didn't matter how hard I tried, just wasn't good at it. Hey, Kaz, made it through Kapooka and marched out in the rain. Is this you on the front? I.e., the photo you have in the background was my platoon, 12 platoon. I was in 12 platoon in the battalion, Zulu platoon. Currently in the School of Armour in my course. Best decision I've made. Let me put this one up for you then, there, young fella. Okay. Oops, no. That's when you get married later. Bam, there we go. Armoured Corps, the above badge, down below if you go to Cav. Okay, I'd recommend you go to Cav, don't go to Tankies. Foxy, Bat Phone is the best, love it. We love you being on there too, Foxy. You always sound like you're intimidated when I call up, but don't worry about it. You got a lovely man and you got 2 camels, and I couldn't beat one of the 3. Mitch should get a lovely card stamped. I've been stopped many times at the gate by the MPs. There we go. Nick, hey, off to Kapooka the 13th of June. Can't wait. Well, that's an unlucky number right there. Well done, Nick, or Nook, as we would say in New Zealand language. Apple juice. You said something like you were looking at the best sergeant in the best platoon in the best company in the best battalion in the world. So that makes me the best platoon sergeant in the world. That is what I used to say to people. That is. Let me paraphrase that one. When I used to give advice, because I was in the 2nd Battalion, and I considered the 2nd Battalion to be the best battalion in the entire world, then I was like, well, if I'm in the best battalion in the entire world, and I think I'm the best platoon sergeant in the best battalion in the world, then how can I possibly be wrong? And with the logic that people hear it when they're new to the unit, it used to be bloody funny to watch their faces. They just lost their mind and thought, does this guy actually believe what he's saying? Yeah. But you've got to prove me wrong, don't you? In the day he was 2RR. I was 2RR, the 2nd Battalion. How do you reckon Singo compares now as opposed to when you went through? I think you learn a hell of a lot more now at Singo than what you did when we went through. When I went through, it was like a gladiator's camp, mate. There's a lot of things, it made us very tough. The training there was a hell of a lot harder physically, so much harder. the what do you call it? The fighting that was happening, the bastardisation was real. There was bashings. I wasn't proud of the way everyone got treated in those days, but I didn't instruct that way. I would say there's a lot of things you can compare and a lot of things you can't. But at the end of the day, we move with the times, but it is the will of the warrior that's inside this guy, okay, that makes you want to earn that Skippy badge. And this is why I spoke to someone a couple of days ago. I'll get to this question. What do you think of the security clearance negative vetting? I've been waiting ages and haven't heard much. That's normal, mate. This would cost thousands of dollars to get, and it opens you up to qualifications within the law enforcement community, mate. So honestly, jury, it sucks for everyone. Second to one, there you go, corn. Put that in your corn hole, son. You know, and see if it pops. Sit on something hot. Yep, actually, you know what? When I was in the Duke of Gloucester Cup, we actually came second to one RAR, so maybe I'll give you that. What are your thoughts on the war crime investigation with our soldiers? I don't like it. I don't like it because we're not investigating the criminals at the moment that were fighting alongside from the Afghanistan army that were raping children. We're not investigating all of those that didn't fight to the laws of armed conflict, that people are actually assuming that their word is factual despite the fact that they target civilians rather than combatants. Yeah, I don't like it at all. I don't name names. That's okay, Mr. Jury. What was I going to say? There was something we were going to talk about. The Skippy badge. We're going to talk about the Skippy badge. There we go. Let's put that back up again. What we're talking about, when I had a candid conversation with someone, we'll have to go in a second, was the one thing that everyone has in the Royal Australian Regiment is the fact that when you look at each other, you know that everyone here has actually earned the Skippy badge. So there is no excuse to be below a certain line of professionalism, to not know the rules. You've achieved it once, so you know what you're doing. So when someone asks me about females going to infantry, for example, okay, so put your big boy pants on at the moment or big girl pants. I'm about to speak some facts to you. You know, Foxy, I'm sure you'll agree with this one too. Let's in the metaphor of a female going to infantry, you got to understand that we travel at the speed of the slowest person. And now that females are actually assessed at a slower, lower rate, what you can't afford to happen is now we are professionally slowed down. That means a capability subtraction, which means now we potentially put people in danger because there's no difference between someone that goes down with heat and someone that's been shot. It means the whole call sign now has a CASEVAC that has to be created. And if we've got someone who is physically at a level where we're not talking about 2 days, we're talking about a 6-month operation, 8-month operation, you know, let's look at females actually represent one area, okay? And we say, righto, well, this is the deal. One area now represents women, and then you've got the 2nd Battalion, 3rd Battalion, okay, 5th Battalion, 6th Battalion, 7th Battalion, 8th, 9th Battalion. Let's say there is one standard for all of those battalions, but one area, okay, is allowed through, okay, at a lower standard. But it still has to be part of the team and the run-on team at that. You know, to get that Skippy badge, every one of those other people have to be able to do all of these set activities, but every time one RAR has a go and falls short, but still passes at the 1 RAR level, not at the level up here that these guys would have been back squatted for. One that this 2 RAR gets back squatted for something that they don't pass, but 1 RAR got a lesser score than that. They're still able to go through because of what do we call it? What do we call it? Quota, for example. Then all of a sudden, what ends up happening is every time we do something and they fall off the monkey bars because they haven't got the grip strength, but then other people are back squatted because of that, and this continues to go on and on and on, then eventually what happens is you end up with some people with the Skippy badge that wouldn't have earned it if they had have been 2nd Battalion, 3rd Battalion, 5th Battalion, 6th Battalion, 7th or 8th, 9th. So they're going to look on one area, okay, with resentment. And that is why there should be one standard for all ages, for all genders, when it goes to a combat corps. That's the fact, Jack. You know, you have to have that because you cannot afford to then have a divisions of this person is at that level of Skippy badge, these people are at that level of Skippy badge. It has to be universal. And I'm sure that everyone has common sense to agree with that. You know, because if we're traveling at the speed of the slowest, you know, let's change it up and it's not a patrol to get to an area to cut off an enemy, you know, who's about to do a surprise attack, okay, on another call sign. What if it is now to carry a stretcher with a wounded soldier on and someone doesn't have the grip strength? You know, you can't pull out your BFA things and go, oh, but I don't have to do as much. What if you can't carry a gun, you know, that weighs 14 kilos plus 23 kilos of ammunition plus the rest of your equipment, and you think that's exploitation if I make you carry that, or discrimination? You know, there's a lot of politics, team. When you're a section commander, you have to choose who carries what. You know, and I have to be able to give every single person the gun. When you're training in the jungle, when you are doing heavy muscular endurance in an urban environment, not using doors, going through doorways, picking up people and carrying them up onto top of roofs so you don't go through a logical, predictable, fatal funnel. This is all on capability, team. It's all on capability. Chongo! Just realised the sound was perfect the whole stream. Yeah, I found a funny knob that was underneath the black here that was the volume button. This guy here, certified dickhead, I swear. Night, everyone. Well, our hour's up. So, guys and gals, thank you very much for tonight. Life is going to change tomorrow for those going to Kapooka, waking up, you know, giving their oath of affirmation, you know, about to commence their military career, with their parents potentially crying for pride as they get onto the bus under your tax dollar. Nutsu cow. Life is definitely changing for those that are now kicking off in Coral Platoon, that are starting as of today their infantry session. Life is definitely changing for the guys that marched out on Friday that are now landed around now, okay, or a couple of hours earlier in the School of Infantry, that are getting ready this Thursday to do their BFA to see whether they're underdone, undercooked, whether they're going to go into session, or whether they're now waiting for another 6 to 8 weeks until they can go into session. Guys and gals, life is about to change for so many. My recommendation always is, when in doubt, be on the bat phone, call me, have a conversation, let me make you laugh with dark humour, and let's get you through. Because this is your life, and I'm Kaz, the Aussie ambassador for the Australian Army, that wants you to succeed, because my daughter needs protecting too. Okay, peace, love, respect to all of you. You know, and guys and gals, it's a pleasure to have you here. And it was a pleasure to serve you too. Take it easy. And happy Mother's Day. If you haven't got one, I hope you made one. See ya.